Hello everyone. Happy full moon. Welcome. I'm just coming in here live, sharing a beautiful announcement, special surprise that I have for everyone. And really before we get into it, I kind of always like to address and set the space for everyone here. Wherever it is that you're coming from, whatever time of day it is for you, well, one, let me know where you are from, right? Take a moment, let me know. I don't know if you can hear, I have some sound healing music out in the background here, just playing some binaural beats. Hi, beautiful souls. And I'm here today just, I want to remind us to kind of tune into the sacred space of wherever it is that you are, You might be in your day, your part of your day, maybe you're starting your day, or maybe it's the evening time, and it's just that reminder to kind of just take a deep breath and come into the sacredness of this very moment, right? Set your intention, right? Hello, beautiful priestesses, priests, goddesses. And today I have a special announcement for you guys. I am announcing next week on July 14th, I am hosting a masterclass for you called Adorning the Modern Mystic. Now, what is Adorning the Modern Mystic? Already, I love the name when it came for me. It reminded me, and I can't wait to reveal just the whole art that I'm going to put up after this live. So stay tuned. But what is Adorning the Modern Mystic? So this class came through me, to me, by you guys. I've been sharing about the modern mystic in terms of, awakening to your soul's gifts. And actually, let me know if you can hear me, right? Because I do have some sound playing in the background. I'd appreciate it. And I've been sharing about the modern mystic and how in this lifetime, many of us have many soul's gifts. As a Shamanic High Priestess, I am a spiritual guide, coach, you could say, for those in this lifetime who just feel this longing to connect to their soul's truth. They want to know, they know there's something about them, this deeper connection to something bigger than them, right? Their soul's purpose, why are you here, right? And they also seem to find themselves that they have all these beautiful synchronicities in their life, whether that is them, being led to certain books, being led to certain beautiful works of knowledge that you wouldn't see somebody else talk about normally unless you're being awakened and called to it. So whether that's the wisdom and knowledge of star seed lineages, wisdom and knowledge of working with the plants, the universe, cosmology, right? All of these beautiful practices, right, that help us to connect to our higher self, to our soul's truth. And so this beautiful Adorning the Modern Mystic, it is a masterclass I'm holding next week on the 14th of July, where one of the biggest feedback that I got was oftentimes I get people with how do you work with crystals? And I had done a story a couple weeks ago where I was highlighting in my particular day what I do to prepare myself, right? And I was talking about, where I mentioned the armor of God, right? In biblical texts, they talk about how God has adorned you with certain weapons so that you can walk out, especially somebody who's a light worker, a starseed, and you work a lot with the energies, right? And you're doing good work for the collective in your life and in your local communities. And what that is when you work with crystals, when you work with certain particular adornments is what I call them, jewelry, right? and you place them in particular areas in your body. You're using that vibrational energy with the crystals that are alive. They have they have a resonance, right? They have a particular energy and frequency where each crystal, just like plants, are able to hold a particular vibration, or like you can say property. I have a background in like chemistry and science, so that's the way like we articulate things, right? And when you place them in particular areas in your body, this is just a quick little sneak peek. Well, you help to amplify the energy from a physical sense and emotional, vibrational sense that helps to support you. Now, if you're somebody who's an intuitive, a star seed, a light worker, this is so important because you're doing work where you're working with a lot of different types of energy, in particular people out in the collective and in the large numbers that you're being surrounded by, where maybe they don't practice good energetic hygiene. And if you're not somebody who's grounded your energy well, or say you are physically not feeling well, right? Maybe you're on your cycle, maybe you caught a cold, etc. Well, your vibrational body, your energetic body needs some extra support. So when you work with adornments in this way, jewelry and crystals, and you have a particular intention, what happens when you begin to work in that way in the mystical, magical world, hey? It helps to support you in those areas. So let's say you're somebody two ways. You're somebody who caught a cold. Now your throat is sore. And you need some support there, right? You need to help activate the thymus gland, which is the part right here in between the collarbone. I have a high neck shirt right now. And it helps to activate the immune center there, right? Or say you have a blocked throat chakra and you're not able to express yourself vocally. The throat chakra is also the expression of, just the outward of getting things from within out into the physical world, right? So that can be connected to the arms, the limbs, the ears. And say you need some support there. Well, what would I recommend somebody who needs to open up the throat chakra is, in particular, when we work with the color blue, that helps to amplify the energy in the throat chakra to support you. If we're talking about, okay, I need some immune support, not only do you do that, but you would look at a particular crystal, a particular property element to support the vibrational healing, to help get that movement and momentum going. And so if you just joined in, I'm talking about Adorning the Modern Mystic, which is my live masterclass that I'm hosting next week for you, where I was getting a lot of questions in terms of like, oh, I didn't realize that in my day-to-day, I'm already doing some, magical work, tapping into the mystic within me, right? And for those who are, light workers, who identify as star seeds, right? And you have soul's gifts. You know that your soul comes, from different lifetimes through also you exist in a different plane as well. This is for you because, when we work with vibrational tools, and this is something I always promote, I'm always talking about teaching when I do live events. I have another page called divine.cosmos.shop where I work with energy vibrational tools to help you align to your higher self, right? And to not to protect you, because I feel like you don't need that when you really own that energy, but to vibrationally help you, support you, amplify you as you walk in your day-to-day. And so, my mission here is to help those who feel that soul resonance. Like, how do I tap in and activate to my soul's gifts? How do I tap in and really work with my energy? So if I know I'm feeling off, right, in a particular way, I need that energetic support. Like, what can I practically do? So in this masterclass, you'll be walking away with tools in terms of, okay, not just like vibrational energy frequency. We'll walk through the chakras, which is a major background of mine as a holistic practitioner, and also I touch base a bit on, and let me know if you know about this, but like the clairs. So the clairs, whether that's clairaudient, clairvoyant, where you're able to see particular things that maybe people can't really see through the naked eye. Clairaudience is so you're able to hear either like guidance or support from above and in the higher dimensional realms. Clairesentient, you're able to feel something, right? And just there's one too where you just know things. And this in particular, this class will help to touch on the clairsentient. You know, we all have clairs too, like these psychic abilities and gifts. It's just a matter of practicing, working with them, being aware of them. Hey, Crystal. And also with that, I'll be teaching on a concept known as psychometry, or where it is the ability to work with particular items, because every item around you in your life carries a memory and energy. They're able to pick up things. And when we work with these adornments that we'll be working on in the masterclass, you'll be able to at least begin to open up that Pandora's box of that skill. So it's like when you walk into a crystal store, and the best suggestion I would ever give somebody is like go into a crystal store and kind of like walk the floor, see what resonates with you. Like what you're doing is you're vibrationally, not in a logical sense, like tuning into what is the support that you need in that instant. And so psychometry helps you to tap in and work in with the vibrational aspect of the adornment. In this case, crystals, jewelry, you setting the intention as well to help support you and what it is that you're needing. So my particular intention for this masterclass is to teach you as a modern mystic, like how to bring this wisdom that we know from many lifetimes before from our ancestors, things that we are no longer taught because either of colonization or our family lines, lineages have forgot about them, you know, especially through conditioning to like fit in with the norm is like, let's not talk about these things anymore, right? And so we'll be waking up to these, you know, teachings, these practices that we know deep within, but we haven't been really normalized to bring them up in conversation in the sacred safe space. And if you're just jumping in, I'm talking about the Adorning the Modern Mystic Masterclass that I'm holding for you guys next week on the 14th of July. And, you know, connecting to that modern mystic is like how I can practically work with these tools, energy tools in my lifetime now to help me. So I know a lot of you guys, you know, do work in terms of, you know, vibrationally as a light worker. You're somebody who can really resonate with, like, you know what's going out in the collective world, right? And like you need that extra support because you have this frequency that you bring that is dissonant, right? It's not in the, you know, same alignment as that energy out there that can be corruptive, right? So this is for those who are needing that support, or, you know, waking up to like how I can practically bring this into my life, right? So it's like not only that this is support you and you'll learn that in this class, but you're also going to be able to connect to your intuition, your soul's truth a little bit more because you're going to be practicing this. This is like a practical class. Bringing in these teachings that I felt like is so necessary because it takes it from you just having to read a book and like really being in a real life setting with other people, really getting to work on these practices of the clairs, working with the psychometry skills, soul's gifts in that way, because it helps to open up your intuition, your third eye, the senses. And in particular too, I feel like this is for people where you feel as if you're walking in your day-to-day life and you live your life in one way, right? Where, say you go to work, you have a particular like responsibilities you have to attend to. But when you come home, or there's a part of you that not many people know about, maybe you have a particular hobby, and if we're talking about the spiritual soul journey, like for me, what do I do in my off time? I'm like reading things in terms of like, okay, spiritual practices. I'm reading about the quantum. I'm reading or learning about like sound healing and modalities, like all these different practices. Like, and you maybe don't really have a whole group in your life community, in person to person interaction, to really open up this Pandora's box and explore that. And then sometimes what happens when someone's on that soul journey or starseed is there's like a split, like you're wearing a mask, right? And then the ego comes in. The ego of the imposter syndrome will step up and say, oh, all the things that you're doing, is it really real, or is it just theory? And so the importance of entering a space and where the intention is held is like, oh, we are really holding, one, we know these truths are out here, especially because these are mystic, esoteric teachings. But by being in a held sacred space, you really allow the ego to step back and your higher self, your truth, to come forward and really have a first-hand experience of working with your clairs, your intuition at a different level, which I find is a missing component when I've attended courses or classes. It's just like giving yourself the opportunity to really be in a real life collective with other people, because that helps the mind, again, stop negating and making you play small, right, in your own personal experience. So not only do you get yourself that permission to really open up and connect to other souls that are in the same vibrational wavelength as you, or a couple steps ahead, or someone who's just stepping into this, the opportunity to learn from one another. But you get to work on yourself and your soul's gifts in this class. Also, where you feel like you haven't felt safe, right, to talk about spirit guides, and especially as a star seed, right, the star lineages. It's particularly in like spirit guides, you talk about dragons, fairies, like people talk about them, but like, have you really had an experience that like really amplifies that? And even so, it can come in with the imposter syndrome to pull you back out and go like, oh, this isn't real, but it is. That gives you a beautiful opportunity to do so, to step into this sacred container and really amplify that. And this is for those who really, I feel, the more you do practices like this, the more you enter spaces into this, like this, right, that give you the permission to expand, explore these aspects of yourself that a lot of people don't really make it as a common, normal day conversation, is it helps you to trust yourself even more. One of the biggest blocks that I find when it comes to connecting to your intuition, connecting to your soul's gifts, when I work with people, and even I'm not going to say like I'm immune from it, because I'm aware of it, when it happens to me too, right, because I am a human being in my own experience here, is that one of the major blocks comes from, not really valuing yourself, having a whole high self-esteem and view of yourself. You can say that the love that you have for you isn't as high as you hold it for other people, right? And that's your conditioning. That's where maybe as an intuitive, many of us with gifts, we've had experiences in our life where we had to play small, where we felt like in order to feel safe, in order to feel accepted, especially by family in a close circle when you were younger, like you had to conform. You had to, maybe your ideas were too out there for other people, right, to like really embrace them. And like they say, people that are afraid is because they don't know, right? They're afraid of the unknown, what they don't know. And so I find this practice masterclass with Adorning the Modern Mystic, it'll help you get into that embodiment of self-love and really tuning into the essence of you. Like when you adorn yourself, like when you hold your self-worth, your value yourself at a different level, versus say visualize yourself getting out of bed and you're home all day but you're in sweatpants and your hair is a freaking mess. That type of moment, like you're not really giving yourself any self-appreciation, self-love, right? And on a physiological and emotional sense, that's the same way. When you start adorning yourself, you start putting a little bit more of extra attention onto you, right? Like not only does your whole character, your whole confidence level changes, your emotion, your energy changes, but again, it comes to where, okay, now I'm in a vibrational level more aligned to how my higher self, the highest version of me sees themselves, right? How they are living, how they are embodying. So there's no longer, like I mentioned earlier, like this dissonance where there's the vibrations, the wavelength is not matching. Like I'm actually aligned. And then that's where you're able to receive more of your channel in terms of your clairs, your soul's gifts. You're also able to tap in to, the wisdom around you, right? And the other thing that I find too that tends to really, and I feel like this is just like a lesson on the soul's journey in your life here, that for those of us who are, sensitive to the energies, we have these psychic gifts, right? Soul's gifts. You're attuned to the different realms. Is that we often, because of conditioning, have been taught to really think and live our lives from a more logical space. Well, intuition is a felt experience. And so when it comes to your intuition, like you have to be in your body. This is where this class will give you like the foundations of like giving yourself full permission to be in your body. And like some people say it could be like vanity, but that's one perspective. But it's like, no, like I'm just giving a fuck about myself, like I'm valuing myself a bit more, where I'm going to give myself a little bit more time to really honor myself, to adorn myself, to value myself. Because when you're in your body, you're no longer wanting to escape your experience. You're no longer wanting to, again, the mind, right, will want to say, invalidate your whole life experience, the whole life journey. But like the more you're able to ground yourself into your body, get into your senses, like get into the senses of joy and pleasure, like you start to figure out what is intuition for you, what is your soul leading you to, right? Amen. You are the gold, you are sacred. And that is where it's like a remembrance of like how I can actually practice, getting into the sacredness of me by actually, taking a little bit more mindful attention and time to take care of myself, whether that is, adorning yourself with energy supportive tools like crystals, jewelry, or something that I love to do is I work with oils and like really just massaging my body in that way, because not only does it help your physical body and your mind, your nervous system to really be present in this moment, feel safe, but also relax. But it also helps you in terms of really get into that self-pleasure state that like, I am worthy, right? Like you're saying, I am the gold. Like I embody, I envision what I see. It's like you're holding this energy of this, like this queen, this empress, like this goddess, that you are worthy. And so this is where this masterclass, like that I've put together for you guys, it's going to be just highlighting like all of the energetics going through, also like I would say the mindset that is necessary. You could add a little bit like psychology in terms of it too, of how to really step into your self-worth, your value. But in the essence, where ultimately it helps you as a starseed, light worker, a modern mystic, being able to ground your energy. And this is so important because, again, someone who is so open or has no energetic boundaries, you end up permitting other people, thoughts, beliefs, their perspectives, their own energy come into your field, and then that impacts you. That can either cause dis-ease, or that could cause you to be vibrationally off your game. And just coming onto the comments that come here, it's like, thanks, I wrote a song Gold to remind myself of this. I would love to definitely hear that, and I love that that's what's resonating with you, because when you work with yourself and taking ownership, and that's what it is all about when it comes to the people that I work with, and also myself, it's like when I see that there are people who feel like they are either missing something, or they feel like they're not belonging in certain aspects, it's like, okay, it's like you're just missing it's the awareness to connect back to yourself, right? Connect back to that self-love, that self-value, because from there everything else comes through. And really, this is just like I do a lot of work with ceremony and sacred. My whole background it is in terms of like holding the space for you as a sacred sovereign being, right? And I love, by the way, the things that come up for you here and just like this live here. So thank you so much for sharing. Because then it helps me to see, okay, what is resonating with you, right? In real time. And so that's even the importance of why we'll be gathering together next week, July 14th. After this live, I invite you to check out my stories, because I love the branding that came through for this. It has a lot of like mystic Egyptian lineage codes coming through, like codes. And as I mentioned, like this is a free masterclass. So when I drop that link for you to sign up, you get a copy of the recording. I'm offering this as free, where otherwise I would just like later down the road it will have a certain particular like investment, because it is going to be part of my back end in terms of what I teach for people with soul's gifts. People want to connect to intuition, expand relationship to their higher self, and really making it practical, right? Because you don't have to hide this aspect of you. And I find that, this is just a beautiful opportunity to get together, to really feel safe in your environment, feel safe in the community here that we have. And let me know, what resonated with you. I was trying to think what to say. But that is it. That is Adorning the Modern Mystic. I wanted to come in and just tune in and let you know what that masterclass was going to entail. I'm going to drop the link in a moment in my stories, and feel free to send me a message, a voice note, if you have any questions, and with whatever resonated with you, and whatever comes through. And thank you. And so I can't wait to hear from you guys, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and we'll catch up with each other soon. Satnam.